pretty responsible that my kids are going to be fine, even if this goes to zero. In fact, I have more certainty that my children will be okay if Bitcoin goes to zero than I do if Bitcoin goes to $10 million each. Like if Bitcoin goes to zero, my children are going to grow up just like you and I did.
Gary Cardone, in his discussion on the Rob Moore podcast, presents a highly bullish and concentrated view on Bitcoin, particularly relevant for investors evaluating its potential and place in their portfolios. His investment thesis, risk assessment, and views on the broader financial landscape offer valuable insights. Cardone states that approximately 86% of his liquid net worth is allocated to Bitcoin. This signifies an extremely high conviction in the asset's potential. He emphasizes that even if all his assets were liquid, he would still choose to have 86% in Bitcoin. Cardone dismisses the conventional wisdom of diversification, arguing that it's not a path to wealth. He believes that substantial wealth creation comes from concentrated bets on high-conviction assets. He equates his investment in Bitcoin to a founder being all in on their company. Just as founders dedicate their resources and energy, Cardone sees his significant Bitcoin allocation as a demonstration of his strong belief in its future. Before we delve into the video, if you want the latest crypto news, market updates, and expert insights from the top minds in the industry, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Stay informed, stay ahead, and never miss an opportunity in this ever-changing world of the financial market. Thank you for subscribing to our channel.
If all of my assets were totally liquid, it still would be 86%. There are assets that I have that I cannot liquidate. It's just not possible. I might be able to borrow against them, but it becomes very, very complicated to do that. If these assets were liquid, they would all be moving into Bitcoin. Overexposed for me, no. The important piece is, remember, it's the liquid net worth. I'm pretty responsible that my kids are going to be fine, even if this goes to zero. In fact, I have more certainty that my children will be okay if Bitcoin goes to zero than I do if Bitcoin goes to $10 million each. Like if Bitcoin goes to zero, my children are going to grow up just like you and I did. I turned out okay not having anything and having to struggle for everything. So that's the way I look at this. Well, why do I'm 66. This theory that I need to be diversified is a joke. That's not true. Nobody gets rich being diversified. Most of the people on this planet that have a shitload of money, they didn't even go to school. Yet every day we tell, gotta go to school to be successful. You gotta diversify to be successful. Gosh, that's not the way I got successful. So, no, I don't think it's over. If my conviction and thesis is correct, as a lifelong investor trader, I would be committing a mortal sin against my own thesis. If you're investing in a company, you want those founders to be really, really convicted, right? You don't want them kind of be, hey, I got 39% of my wealth in this private equity business, in this idea I'm building, but I've got the rest of it in something really safe. Most people that build businesses are all in, dude. They go broke. They go broke being in a business. So to me, Bitcoin offers, at this point, Bitcoin offers an unbelievable opportunity. Bitcoin is an unbelievable call option on the future of digitizing planet Earth. And without me paying an extra penny, it is a insurance policy or a put against the rest of the legacy world. And I think I get two bites of the apple here: a call option on digital and a put option or an insurance policy on what looks like in 72 hours, we're going to have major escalated military operations from Iran to Israel, or that's the story that we're going to be told. Gold, silver, and Bitcoin were designed for this period right here. So yeah, I am extremely short. What I see is the military industrial complex and all the government professional politicians. They've had 50, 60, 70 years to fix this, and they've done nothing but make it worse. So I think everyone should be looking for a put. Everyone. whether it's gold or silver. I mean, I have both of those. They're so difficult to move. It's impossible relative to Bitcoin. Oh, the other 14 of liquid is cash, silver, some mining stocks that are related to Bitcoin, which is about 3% of the portfolio. And then one non-Bitcoin token that I think will, anyway, it's just a bit of a play for a small, like 1 or 2% of the position. And that's about it. Got some guns, water, liquid, gasoline, fuel, generators, boat, fishing equipment. So I'm pretty set up for being able to take care of my children and my neighbors. Then the rest of it's in real estate with my brother, a home that is a complete waste of money, and private equity. You know, every time we have a hurricane or a cyber attack, or, you know, it seems like we have events now every, 3-4 weeks? I mean, major events too. We've become desensitized to how significant these events are. Everybody around me gets all panicky. They're driving to the grocery store, man, doing all kinds of weird shit. I am freaking out. I just keep making business calls until shit hits the fan, because I'm already ready. I've been ready for 30 years, man. This thing should have gone tits up 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And they just keep pouring morphine into it. And they'll pour morphine into it this time too. The problem is today, you're in London. America does not know that you guys are rioting almost every day. They don't know that Paris is in full-on riot, that a good 5 to 8% of your population has no interest in assimilating into a culture that's been around for 1,000 years. Zero intention. No food interest, no language interest, no religious interest. They are literally coming to your country, just like the people that invested around 1 mile around Buckingham Palace. They basically absolutely stole central London from you. You guys allowing all these Saudis and Russians and Chinese to come there and buy 40 million pound properties that were worth 20, and then they bury 20 million into a pool. They're hiding money. They're literally hiding money. They've taken that whole cash laundering business that the Indians do in London and turned it into, I bet they've added 5, 6 zeros to it. You know what I'm talking about. You walk into an Indian restaurant, it's 8,000 square feet and there's 3 people there for lunch. That is a money laundering center. And there's 300 of them within walking distance. So, dude, we're at a point now that I don't know anybody that's not ratting. Is there a country on this planet that's not freaked out right now? So I hope I never have to use them. I mean, I have 2 security dogs. I hope they alert me first. I have a lot of Bitcoin. I'm very open and transparent. And I had a phone call today from a lawyer in San Francisco. He's like, dude, it's just a matter of time before every agency comes knocking on your door. Now, the cool news is I have a really clean closet. I haven't done anything wrong. I've had people try to tell me I've done things wrong. I've never been in 45, 50 years. If you built 7, 8 different businesses in 2 continents, if you don't have a bunch of red flags after 40 years, you've probably done a pretty good job, especially if you were in the energy business. Like right next to Enron. I mean, my hands were so clean through that whole process, and they could have been really dirty. I mean, I remember getting a phone call from the Russians. I offered to buy $1 billion a month of Russian gas from them and dump it in the UK. And after having the first conversation, I'm like, I can make a lot of money doing this, but I know where it's going to lead, and I'm not doing it. And somebody else went and got that money. They may or may not still be alive, but for me, it just wasn't the way I was going to build my life. So I hope I don't need to use these tools, but they're just tools. I mean, I hope I don't need to use the shovel and the rake that are designed for my children and me to grow our own food. I don't want to grow my own food, man.
Cardone believes that if Bitcoin could be leveraged like real estate, its price would be significantly higher. Conversely, if real estate could not be leveraged, its value would plummet. He anticipates the tokenization of real estate will introduce more transparency and tradability, potentially changing how real estate is valued and invested in. In conclusion, Gary Cardone's perspective on Bitcoin is characterized by a high degree of conviction, a focus on its potential as both a growth asset and a hedge, and a concern for security and regulatory challenges. His views are valuable for investors considering a significant allocation to Bitcoin and those seeking to understand the mindset of a high-net-worth, early adopter in the cryptocurrency space. He emphasizes the importance of understanding the asset, managing risk, and preparing for potential regulatory changes.